ways to prevent this virus, plus lots more. So don't go anywhere.
So, Dr. Rita, what is HPV? You've been talking about HIV. So what is HPV?
Okay.
And is HPV just for women or it's for men as well?
Okay, so HPV, human papilloma virus, is not for women only. Unfortunately, only women can screen. So before I jump there, let me tell you that HPV is the most common sexually transmitted infection. So out of 10 sexually active people, 8 of them, both men and women, would have been infected with HPV at one point in their life. Unfortunately, there is no test for men to screen and say, oh, you have HPV, let us pick it. And for women, the only way, there are over 100 strains of HPV, and different strains can cause different things. But the one we pick while doing the pap smear is the one that can cause cervical cancer. Once you become sexually active...
What is a pap smear?
Pap smear. Let me switch to pidgin.
Thank you.
Okay. So pap smear, na smear where we do for hospital to screen for cervical cancer, to see if a woman is at risk of having cervical cancer. When you go to the hospital, the doctors will guide you on what to do. And if the test comes back positive, they would also guide you on how to move forward. It's just to make sure that in the future, you are not at risk of having cervical cancer and to help you protect yourself. So we also want to protect ourselves from HPV by wearing a condom.
This matter, it concern me, it concern you. Talk your own.
Ashabi na my paddy for jungle. She sabi pass everybody. Her brain be like oracle. Before the question even finish, the answer don't come out. Chai! Ashabi, the over-sabi babe for my domot. You don't believe my flow. Make her yarn you about the things where Ashabi know. She go tell you time by just looking at the sky. She feel no say you high. If she just dey look your eye, she go know if that's your so-called designer bag na Abba made. No be overdo be that. Abba. But you get something where she no sabi you, and that thing go shock you. How person no go know in HIV status? No be ya, make we talk true now. Because it makes sense to know your status. Make life no carry you, they go where you no know. Make life no carry you, they go where you no know. Because as a day, me and no fit carry last. Now me go run this show.
Talk your own.
Part of this our uncomfortable conversations. Are you both vaccinated? The COVID-19 vaccine?
I am not vaccinated, but he is.
We get experts where they here. We're going to talk about the importance of taking the COVID-19 vaccine. So let's put a round of applause as we invite Dr. Diana.
My name is Dr. Diana Babo. I am from the Rivers State Primary Health Care Management Board. I am the state health educator with the board. It's nice to meet you, Mr. Davis with an E-S.
Davis with S.
With S.
Yes.
I-E-S. And Mrs. Davis. I really appreciate your love story. So if you are an adult, you are 16 years and above, you can take the vaccine. So it's safe to take, and we know what it does. It protects us from the COVID-19 virus and the events that follow after contracting the virus. But when we first had COVID-19 waves, 2019, 2020, it was just all kinds of things came up. You take the vaccine, in 2 years' time, you die. You take the vaccine, you get impotent. You take the vaccine, you can't perform as a woman. You won't have children. You take the vaccine, you become a conduit for electricity to pass through your body. You become a magnet, They attach a bulb to you. You can shine. All kinds of stories were actually raining that time. And that science is dynamic, medicine is also dynamic. That's the truth. And before this COVID-19 you heard about, before it came, it's actually called SARS-CoV-2. For something to be called 2 means there was a 1, is it not? Yes, there was SARS-CoV-1 before SARS-CoV-2, and there's a vaccine for SARS-CoV-2. So the argument then was, why did they quickly have a vaccine for COVID when it came? It was because there was a template already for a vaccine of a similar virus as at that time. So they picked that template and worked on it, kind of tweaked it so that it can suit this SARS-CoV-2, and that is our COVID-19 vaccine. There are 4 types: AstraZeneca, Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson. And what does it do? It protects you not against the virus and contracting it per se. It protects you against the cause of the disease. You know, when you make contact with an organism, two things happen. You fight it, you recover from it, you fight it, you break down from it. Then, when you recover from it, you have actually become immune to that particular organism. So now, we didn't want people to. Some people couldn't actually fight and recover, you know. They fought, went into respiratory distress, had to be on ventilators, some on oxygen, some died, you know, and they were like, if you're having comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension, it's even worse for you. If you had other issues, it was worse for you, you know. So we didn't want people to contract the virus first and recover because we didn't know how many people would recover and actually get immunity from it. So what we did was what we had, you know, we tweaked that particular vaccine from SARS-CoV-1, and then we had SARS-CoV-2 vaccine. We said, let's have this vaccine to everybody that is eligible to take. The vaccine makes contact with you. It's part of the organism. Your body begins to fight, you know, develops antibodies, and then you can have that reserve of antibodies even when you have not made contact or contracted the virus. So that when you eventually do contract the virus, your body is able to give a better fight, and you don't end up like the person who didn't have the vaccine, who will end up with a respirator or a ventilator or even dead. So, just to clear our doubts, if you have the vaccine does not mean you cannot have the virus infection. What it means is that you will not get to the end stage part of the cause of the illness. So,
thank you very much, Dr. Diana.
I must talk my own. I go talk.
Talk your own. Make Naija better.
Welcome back. This is your boy Blaze, and I'm here with Mr. Jason, our social media expert, and he just told us why the COVID-19 vaccines have issues. Mr. Jason, is it possible to... Oh, sorry. Looks like we have a caller. Hello?
My name is Chloe.
Hi, Chloe.
My question is to your guest.
Please go ahead.
Where did you get all this information about the COVID-19 vaccine from?
Well, you know, as an influencer with over 500,000 followers, I have access to various blogs and pages.
Wait a minute. From blogs?
Of course.
Oga presenter, you shock Abi. Mr. Jason, you be doctor. Are those blogs run by the NCDC, WHO, or MPHCDA?
Well, I mean, no, but I mean,
stop sharing lies about the COVID-19 vaccines. You're putting lives in danger.
Authentic info on the COVID-19 vaccines can be got from the WHO, NCDC, and NPHCDA websites. So, protect yourself, family, friends, and community from COVID-19. Get vaccinated sharply.
Do it for love.
Do it for love.
Do it for love.
Talk your own, make I talk my own, yo. Say your own, make I say my own, yo. Yeah. What up, my people? This na your boy, okay, David. I dey here for talk your own. You self talk your own because me don't talk my own. Make Naija for better. Oh yeah.
Talk your own. Make Naija better.
We have come to the end of today's program. Hope say it makes sense so and you enjoy them. Well. Dr. Rita Egop talks say the best way to protect yourself from HIV, that is the human immunodeficiency virus, and the HPV, human papilloma virus, now to always practice safe sex. And Dr. Diana say taking the COVID-19 vaccine no means say you no fit stay infected with the virus, so but the vaccine no go allow make you experience any gbese, that is any adverse effects of the virus. So now I ask you with the house, you dey get this kind of conversations with your partner? Does it affect your trust when you bring up topics about health, maybe HIV? How does the conversation go? Remember, you can always text us on 0708 282 1279. Again, the number now 0708 282 1279. And for Instagram and Facebook, our name now BBC Media Action Niger. Until we meet again next week, my people. My name na Ekpedeme, aka Super. Bye-bye.
Talk Your Own is made by BBC Media Action Nigeria.
This is Today95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today. 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about it.
Good afternoon and welcome to the world news on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM. The station with a unique dial.
When the weather becomes strict and everything becomes unsteady, the only way to go is tune to Today 95.1 FM. And the world of information, entertainment, and education will be served as breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Welcome to the show. You're listening to
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
This president's failed.
It's about the future of this country.
We're going to take it back. We're going to take it back.
You asked us to vote you into that position so you can bring about that
solution.
So when you vote me, then you sleep.
Let me see if I can take another phone call. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
What makes a policeman to be able to feed is the gun he's holding. They use their gun to extort money from people.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
No longer news that we are truly the voice of the people.
Am I not a slave in Nigeria?
I refuse if you are. If you say you're a
slave. Let's not get to that now. So the Nigerian
You spot the difference now? Still your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM. The news update at 1. The federal government is making plans towards the recovery of... Oh, they call my line again now. Hello?
Hello? What is happening? I've not been getting that desired result on my advert placed on radio.
You said you wanted a good place to showcase your products now.
Yes. Someone told me about Today 95.1 FM and I said I should call.
Okay. Just come to Today 95.1 FM. I beg, they read news now. Thanks.
On my way.
Sorry for that break. Still on the news, Governor of...
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Hello. I'm actually looking for a place where I can do very good jingles. And
call this number.
What about a place where, like a comfortable place where I can record and produce my programs?
Call this number.
Sorry. This one is actually very important to me. I'm also looking for a good radio station where I can place my adverts. This one is actually very important to me.
This number. Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Did you know that there are over 8 million listeners connected to our frequency?
2850 389 2850.
Did you know that there are over 8 million listeners connected to our frequency, covering 6 states across 2 geopolitical zones? Take advantage of our reach and advertise your products, services, events, and businesses on Today 95.1 FM. Get value for your money as millions of people get to know about your business. Give us a call now on 0818 389 2850. Again, 0818 389 2850.
Hello. I'm actually looking for a place where I can do very good jingles. And
call this number.
What about a place where, like a comfortable place where I can record and produce my programs?
Call this number.
Sorry. This one is actually very important to me. I'm also looking for a good radio station where I can place my adverts. This one is actually very important to me.
This number.
This number.
Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. The voice.
0818 389 2850. 0818 389 2850.
What is it? How come Chukwudi, that guy Chukwudi, how come he's making more sales than us and we are in the same line of business?
Relax, cool down.
Are you sure he's not using something? Ask him so that whatever he uses, we can use it.
I'll meet him. He's my brother. Calm down. What is that thing you are doing? I'm your brother. What is that thing you're doing? Look at your shop now. It's always busy.
Look, my friend, it is very simple. I don't tell you this thing before, but you know the
I am willing to go anywhere, any length. Just what is it you are doing? What is the secret?
It is very simple. See, just take your business, okay? Take your business, go to Today FM for adverts, and you will experience change.
Chukudi, stop this joke now.
I tell you, because now, as we talk so, their rates don't drop.
Chukudi, are you being serious?
I did tell you.
If this man goes safe, we got Chukudi. Want buy something new? We got Chukudi.
Who they collect money? Chief can face you come now.
I come. Emeka, I need to go now. And don't forget though, Today 95.1 FM. Carry your business, go give them, and you go see change.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best.
Chukudi, Dalo, thank you very much.
Big up, family.
Thank you.
And the world's gonna know your name.
Let's talk football.
What a devastating strike!
Football is a leisure game.
Sports is actually my job.
Football is boring.
That's not true. It's way more important than that.
What a wonderful goal! Fantastic strike!
As far as I'm concerned, sports is all about passion.
Sports Attack, weekdays 7:30 a.m. and Today's Sports Live 3 p.m. Weekends 1 p.m. to 6 p.m.
For all you need to know in the world of sports, leave the dial on Today 95.1 FM.
Talk radio.
I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
This is what we've waited for. The showdown. The fastest men in the world.
Hearts racing.
One light, two lights.
They're backing off and backing.
Pulse rising.
Who will come out on top? Who'll take
3 lights, 4
Who's ready to be the star?
The anticipation.
Powerful, strong.
There's Beckham.
Time, Tyson Gay right. Hold all the way. He's looking right.
The heart stops. Catch the sports game on Sports Attack Mondays through Fridays, 7:30 a.m. and Today's Sport Live, 3 to 4 p.m. and also on the weekends, 1 to 6 p.m. Only on your premium sports radio. Today, 95.1 FM.
I wanna take you away.
My name is Gianni Infantino, FIFA president. For the best of sports, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Hello, my name is Kanu Wanko, aka Papilo. For the latest and trending sports stories, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
First of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to the Arsenal fans for the support so far. It's been overwhelming, really. Obviously, there's been a lot going on, a lot of speculation for months. But obviously, as a player, you want to get things dealt with as quick as possible, so you're settled. And today I've had my first day, so I'm feeling really at home.
As you say, it's been a busy time, let's say, the last few weeks, but what's it been like for you? How have you been feeling?
It's been a bit overwhelming, obviously, because of my relationship with West Ham and the love and support I have for them. It's been really hard to walk away. But look, in football, amazing opportunities arise. Big clubs like Arsenal, have come for me, and it's really hard to turn down. You only ever get one career, and I really believe in what Mikel's building here, what the squad is building, and I'm really now looking forward to the future with Arsenal.
It's a lovely Sunday afternoon right here in the Guardian city of Port Harcourt, and of course it's time for us to talk sports right here on this dial and at this time. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to the marathon edition of Today's Sports Live, coming your way from your premium talk, news and sports radio station, Today 95.1 FM. You're listening to the voice of your favorite melanin sports presenter. My name is Victor Oriahi, and right now it's time for us to talk sports on the show. Well, it's a loaded show, I must say, as we've got so much to talk about in the world of sports. In athletics, well, Nigeria are making the headlines, albeit for the wrong reasons, as we've got a gold medal stripped from us from the last Commonwealth Games. How about the D Tigers? Finished 8th in the just concluded AfroCan. They lost yet another classification game, and you begin to ask yourself, when will things get right for Nigeria men's basketball team? And for the female basketball team, we saw Chido Modera, one of the players, retiring from international duties earlier this week. As she said, she did that so that she can expose the lack of professionalism in the basketball sector. And of course, in tennis, Ons Jabeur yet again failed to capitalize on a Wimbledon final as she was beaten by Marketa Vondrousova, an unseeded youngster. And we've got a big game later today. It's the men's singles final in the Wimbledon as Novak Djokovic will take on Carlos Alcaraz. So promises to be exciting as we also have got some boxing stories to talk about. Alex Krasiuk saying Tyson Fury doesn't care about the fans in any way. All he cares about is money. We'll be hearing from the man and also getting your feel of the pulse. And of course, in the football scene, we're counting down to the FIFA Women's World Cup. It's just about 5 days to go, 4 days to go to the start of the tournament and also the transfers. It was all about Arsenal yesterday with Declan Rice completing or sealing that move with the Gunners. You heard from him at the start of the show talking about what to expect from the man this coming season. A loaded show and a full house as we've got Blessing Andrew right here in the studio. Welcome to the show, Blessing, and good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Victor. Good afternoon to my colleagues in the studio. Good afternoon to our listeners out there. Bonjour et bon dimanche à notre adorable auditeur. Je suis très heureuse d'être avec vous aujourd'hui. I said good afternoon and happy Sunday. I am very happy to be here with you again this Sunday. Victor, this show today, with all that you've read out, it's going to be interesting. So to our listeners, just stay tuned and keep listening.
Certainly you do not want to miss any part of the show. Isn't it, OT? The Duchess of Sports is right here. Welcome, isn't it?
Good afternoon to you, Victor. Good afternoon to my colleagues in the studio and to you out there, our lovely listener. Good afternoon to you too. It's great to be here for the first part of today's Sports Live.
All right, Uzo Chukwu Duma is also here. Welcome, Uzo. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Victor. Good afternoon to my colleagues here in the studio, and good afternoon to Port Harcourt City. It's a wonderful thing to be here on today's Sports Live this afternoon.
And we also have got the younger Chukwuzite also in the studio. Welcome, Chuks.
Peter, good afternoon. Good afternoon to the ladies in the studio. Good afternoon to the guy in the studio, Uzo. Good afternoon, Port Harcourt City. Victor, before I came to the studio, LeBron James said he's not ready to retire.
Yeah, we're talking about that as well.
I'm going to wait till maybe he will play with his son. What's his name again? Brown Jr. And
yeah.
So we have to wait. He has his time, and I think he has really enjoyed basketball, but taking the time out now with a lot of stars coming in. With Wembayama is already in the scene, so I think he just bow out in a very, 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 very good, or when I say glorious way, because if he keeps playing, he keeps messing himself up.
Well, the man says not today. Today is not going to be going to be the day where I get to retire. We'll hear from LeBron James as well. So the show is designed to be interactive. That's why we've got our feedback platforms for you. Text and WhatsApp is 0701 933 9962. Again, 0701 933 9962. That is the number to send in your text or your WhatsApp messages to. Of course, we're going to throw open the phone lines later on so we can get to hear from you directly on the show. Let's start off from athletics, talking about the ban.
Oh baby, oh, been in love with you for days. Don't
pass the love you give me. If I hold your hand, I beg to release me. Baby, 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 what have you done to me? I don't know, yeah. What have you done to me? I don't know. Believe me, you got me you. I need you, I need you for my family. It must be you, it must be you. I need you. Oh, pretty, pretty, my pretty, pretty. Like I give you my name, oh yeah, follow me, let's go. Bend down low, follow me, make me go. Oh, pretty, pretty, my pretty, pretty. Make I give you my name, oh yeah, follow me, let's go. Bend down low, follow me, make me go.
Well, the Commonwealth Games Federation has confirmed that the Commonwealth Games Federation Court has issued their decision regarding an in-competition sample provided by Grace Wokocha, who competed in athletics at the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. Now, analysis of the sample returned an adverse analytical finding, that's AAF, for ostarine and dihydroxyl LGD 4033, a metabolite of ligandrol. Now, both are non-specified substances listed under other anabolic agents in the WADA 2022 prohibited list. So on the 17th of May 2023, the Federation Court issued a decision that Ms. Wokocha had committed the following anti-doping rule violations under the 2022 Commonwealth Games anti-doping rules. That's presence of a prohibited substance or its metabolites or markers in the athlete samples pursuant to Article 2.1 of the ADRs, and use or attempted use by an athlete of a prohibited substance or a prohibited method pursuant to Article 2.2 of the ADRs. Well, accordingly, the Federation Court disqualified Ms. Wokocha's results from the following events with all resulting consequences, including forfeiture of any points and prizes. For the athletics, the women's 100 meter, the women's 200 meter, the women's 4x100 meter relay, including the team's forfeiture of the gold medal. The matter has now been passed to the Athletics Integrity Unit to determine any further consequences under their anti-doping rules. So all results will be amended accordingly. England are now awarded first place and awarded the gold medal in the 4x100 meter relay. Jamaica second place and awarded the silver medal. Australia third place and awarded the bronze medal. Well, that was communicated to the relevant Commonwealth Games associations who are liaising with the impacted athletes. So that's the situation right now. So it means in the last Commonwealth Games, we did applaud our athletes. Of course, that was where Toby Amuson was able to, she did so well after
she
just...
defended
after breaking the record in the World Athletics Championship. She went into the Commonwealth Games and still performed at the top level. But we also applauded the 4x100 meter relay team. It had Toby Amuson in that team as well. I think Favor Ofili, Grace Wokocha as well. And for the team to forfeit that gold medal as a result of this issue, does this once again smear the faces of Nigerian athletics?
Maybe in some way, maybe not, because first of this one you will not want to call the Nigerian Athletics Federation into it, because Grace Wokocha had participated in the World Athletics Championship where she ran in the 100 and 200 meters, although she didn't go so far in the competition. She didn't get to make it to the finals. From there, they travel straight to Birmingham, and the federation have nothing to do about it. And from what you read, for an in-competition testing, so it was not like out of competition where the federation have to now send people to go to your house, try to take a sample and know if you are doing the right thing or not. So I think the federation, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria will have to be excluded from this one this time, unlike what we saw at the Olympics when it was duly their duty that this kind of thing should have been done. it's a sad one. We already knew that it was definitely going to lead to this level, because when she was provisionally suspended and not asking for a sample B, because as an athlete, if you feel no, you did not do anything wrong, you have the right, you have the chance to ask for them to check for another sample. That's the sample B, but that wasn't done. The sample that was taken and every other process was followed by the World Anti-Doping Committee and all of that, World Anti-Doping Agency. And after all that was found, it was found that she took you want to call it like a supplement, and Ostarine. And what Ostarine also does is to increase the muscle size, and that is one thing that steroids do. And we know when the better the muscles, the better your chances of even competing better, your pace, and also the endurance level that comes to you as an athlete. So it's a sad thing to our sport. It's a sad thing to the federation, because the 4x100 meter relays, that was the first time we were getting that medal, and we just started participating in that competition I think that was like 2 or 3 years ago, Victor, when Nigeria began the 4x100 meters relay team. And then all of a sudden it just yielded fruit in no distant time, where Toby Amusan was part of it. Favor Ophili was there, Rosemary Chukuma, with then Grace Mokocha. We are so happy because we did so well in the World Athletic, in the that's the Commonwealth Games, having our best ever podium finish, and this time one medal have been stripped off, and that's the disadvantage that comes with team sports. When one hand, just like saying when one of your hand touches oil, it drops off on the other. The other athletes were not found guilty. It was just Grace Mukocha, but the fact that she was part of that race, and whatever advantage she would have gotten would have been able to spur the team to become first position. That was part of it. So it's not a terrible thing for them, for the athletes that got their first ever medal when it comes to that's the Commonwealth Games. It will no longer be counted. For athletes like Favor Ophili, that's not going to be counted. For that's Toby Amusan, that medal now will be taken off from them, because now they'll be giving it back. The medal table has already changed, so the United States is now the first position. Second has to be Jamaica. I've forgotten the third. Australia then comes third. So it doesn't get as bad as this. So I just feel it's more of the athletes this time. No, the federation cannot be called wanting in this one. It was a deliberate act from Grace Mukocha. I don't know what she was thinking, because if you look at her run from last 2 years, it's been a constant progression. Maybe not as fast as she wanted, but it's something she could have been able to build up to something. Maybe not dominate at the global stage, but in the African stage, she would have been able to get to some certain level. There was no need to bring in something that will make you found wanting, and because the bad thing about doping is that all of your labors past, everything you must have done is now watered down, because wherever your name is called up is an athlete that was caught doping, because now we cannot question your previous performances. What if you are not caught? What if these were things you have been doing and you found a way to go through it, and then no one found you culpable of that act? So it's a saddening thing, but it's good that justice has been served, because no matter how the fact that it's a Nigerian that won the medal, if you do not win it through the right process, definitely the law should be put in front. It's not just you that's the first person. A lot of Kenyan athletes have been stripped of their medals. I think last 2 months too. I know that those long distance races, I think, is a big problem in the African continent. A lot of doping cases here and there. We need to find to it, and our athletes, they need to learn to do better. You just need to do better, and you have to put your best. And who says the sky can be your starting point?
All right, and Blessing, let me come to you now, because this is coming just few months after the Athletics Integrity Unit did slam Nigerian sprinter Blessing Okagbare with a 10-year ban for also failing a drug test. And you begin to wonder, many times we say, you've got to learn from certain decisions that people make. You see this sort of thing happen to Blessing Okagbare, and then a few months later, you're having Grace Mukocha taking a banned substance. Do you think it's something about mistakenly, or was it a purposeful act? And maybe I'll need Chukwusite on this one as well, as a result of his knowledge in the biometrics and all of that.
Victor, I read up something, and she said
biochemistry, rather.
It's from a drink that she drank. I don't want to mention the name of the drink, but it's a popular drink that we all drink for energy and all of that. She said it was a mixed substance in it that she cannot tell. It could be that a case of a mistake.
But just a pin there, because when I think it was Tyson Fury who made me start thinking about this. Why? I mean, you eat so much, you eat a lot of things, right?
Yes.
And then during the period of the competition, you must have taken several drinks. Why is it that when you are tested, you remember that it's this drink?
Is this
and you realize that
is this thing? So if you knew from the beginning, why did you take it?
Avoided the drink.
Because as if you said he ate a castrated pork, he ate a castrated pig. So if you knew that eating castrated pig,
it's pork.
If you knew it was going to do that to you, why did you now go ahead?
Victor, you know that when something happens to you, maybe for example now you feel pain in your leg, you might not think about it, but when the pain becomes serious, you sit down and think, where did I hit this leg? Then you sit down and think, maybe it was a week ago when I mistakenly hit this leg there. So when something is wrong with you, you will sit down and you start making traces. Not like I'm making any excuse for her, but if there's something wrong with you, you should be able to sit down and think, what exactly is the cause of this problem? What did I eat? What did I drink? Now, a coach in Nigeria, in Benin, said she was subjected to several in-house tests at the national trials before she went. She was subjected to so many tests, and none of that came back positive. So she went for the competition. And Victor, if you look at the way she ran throughout the competition, she was in a very good form. But look at her record before that tournament. It was beautiful. She had done 11 seconds. Now, her personal best at that competition was 10.97 seconds. So what is the difference? We know that it's a race and every second counts. But if you look at it, you know that there've been a conscious growth in all that she has been doing. Now, this case has come out. Where did this problem come from? Did she consciously take the drugs or something? Because Victor, when Toby broke that record, there were so many tests and so many reports that she must have been on something. So when Grace also did very fine, several testing would have come out to say, okay, we really need to check. And Victor, after she finished running the relay race, I was expecting her to just, rest. You just finished running. She was still bouncing like where is this energy coming from?
Isn't
it that bouncing was extra? Go back. No.
What do you do?
No, I had to go back.
What do you
She won the medal, so
Victor,
it's the adrenaline at that point in time.
Do you know the way she was? As soon as you look at the
Toby was crying like,
but she was still bouncing.
Isn't it? I went back to watch. I said, this way this guy they do it is somehow. But Victor, I see it's a two-way thing now. It's either she did not know, or it could have been a setup. Somebody might have just spiked her drink or something. Envy. It happens. We see it happen every day. I'm not trying to exonerate her, but I know that an athlete of her caliber should not be doing something like this. And Victor, it's not just her. Another athlete in a training camp was also found guilty of doping. I think that was last year in the US there. So they should ask themselves, all of these athletes, they didn't train here in Nigeria. They trained in the US, and it was there that they took all of those things. So the Athletic Federation now of Nigeria, I think what they need to do now is to maybe start calling all of these athletes one by one. I beg us now, they come to this competition, don't take anything, because they cannot monitor them. Here, when they come for trials, they do tests for them, and it's always clean. Then they go out, it's a different ball game. So what are they taking in that US? What are they doing? Because it's beginning to smear the name of Nigerian athletes. Now, it will not be like Grace Wonkocha, US trained athletes. It's going to be Nigerian athletes, because she has been training in the US. She didn't train here. It's not our fault, but it's going to be Nigerian. So they really need to go back and ask themselves, it will get to a point that when a Nigerian athlete comes out, they will start looking at us with a very funny eye. And a Nigerian
People they smoke
people that take different substances, people that might have taken something. You understand? So I just think that they should try, because it's not a one person thing now. It's affecting everybody.
True.
It's affecting other athletes.
The thing there, because most times, because it's our athletes, we try to find every reasonable means to say, okay, let's say it's a mistake. But you see, for the LGD, that's the 4033 building body, that's the Leandro that she took. For the bulk production in the body, users must perform a whole 8-week cycle of ligand draw. The first few weeks will be noticed, the first few results will be noticed in 4 weeks, after which the strength level shall be observed prominently. So it's not like she just took it. That time she went to that that's the tournament.
Okay.
It's now shows that there are things you take as an athlete. There are drugs that is banned by World Athletics Federation. What you will see it, athletes know that, and that's why it's very difficult for you to see the top athletes ever being caught, because they look at what they take. They make sure that their diet is well screened. The whatever supplement they take, it's not something that is banned by the World Athletics Federation. So athletics body. For Grace Mokocha, Ostarin was found. If it was one, it's a different thing. But this time it was 2 substances that were found. So it takes away, because let's remember when what's that Jamaican athlete? Is it Richarlison? Also, yes, the dark lady. She's in 100 meters. That was last year or last 2 years. She was found with what's the electrical name of the weed now? Please, I'm trying to remember.
What's the weed?
Oh, people know what they call it now.
Marijuana.
Marijuana. In her bloodstream. And she said it's because she was grieving her mom. Then she lost her mom, and she accepted it. She knew, she accepted this one.
All right.
So our athletes,
Richardson.
Yes, I know that's Richardson.
Shakari Richardson.
She accepted it because she knew she took it. If Grace Mokocha knew that it was a mistake on her own end, definitely she'll come out to speak. For tennis,
because the suspension, she's been suspended since last year.
For in tennis, Simona Halep is still banned. She's not competing. She has come out to say it's a mistake, but that doesn't stop anything. But when you know you did something deliberately, you do not have an excuse. There's a way you will not be able to come out to defend yourself, and that's the problem we are having. So I don't even want to talk about the federation. I think it's our athletes. They have gotten to a certain level in their career that they should understand that these are the do's and the don'ts. If I cannot get it in this way, it's not the 90s, it's not the 80s. where you know that a lot of athletes were able to bypass some of these things. This time it's very easy. There's no way to cut corners anymore.
All right. Well, just a quick search has revealed that anabolic steroids. Now, what it does is that it mimics the effect of testosterone, which would, of course, enhance performance in athletes and also muscle growth. And just trying to confirm if it's possible for anabolic steroids to be present in energy drinks. And the result has all come negative. That as a result of the nature of the steroids, they are actually controlled substances, and so the presence in any consumable product will be highly illegal and extremely scrutinized. So such products cannot be included in the manufacturing processes of even energy drinks. So it's mostly what it will be for Grace Wokocha.
Victor, I think hers, I don't know how it will be because her own is in competition testing. Because we know that why Blessing Okagbari's own was 10 years because she knocked on, I think, faster than what we saw with that of Blessing Okagbari in her own case. So it's scary. If it was out of competition, I think it would have been easier. I think the hammer might not be as much as it is when she had already gone to the World Athletics, that's the Commonwealth Games, when she was then found to have had a banned substance in her body.
All right. And just before we move on quickly, Uzo, going forward, do you think perhaps our athletes would need even the young athletes that are coming up now, because I mean, watching the national trials that did take place in Edo State a couple of weeks back, you saw a lot of young athletes, and all I could imagine was, are these ones already aware? Are they coaching them? Are they sensitizing them of the do's and don'ts of being an athlete, of the substances? Because it's updated every year. Yeah. Every year, WADA that's the World Anti-Doping Association, comes up with a list of banned substances. So are they being coached even from right here in the country? Because in this sort of situations, ignorance is never an excuse.
Well, I wouldn't know, because I've not been in that particular location, wherever location they normally have their training and all that. I wouldn't know. But for you to go into any sport and you want to be a professional in that sport, I'm very sure you should know the do's and don'ts of that particular sport. If you want to play football today and there are things that are not needed, then you have to abide by the rules and regulations. If you want to play tennis and the rules and regulations, you have to abide by it. You have to read from the history, from the rules and regulations. You read the things you do, the things you should not do, the things you should eat and all that. Not coming later and you're on things and they ask you say it's a mistake. You shouldn't be on things. There are some sports you should not be on things.
Victor, every sport, you're not supposed to be on things. It's supposed to be a level playing ground for everybody. Sorry for barging into the studio, but I think I need to say something here. I don't know if we've noticed that there's been a kind of non-appearance, or should I say hibernation of majority of our athletes. I don't know if anybody is looking in that direction, because it's as if we now have Toby Amoso, Ese Brume, and the rest. It's either you look at the shot put guy, the woman in the hammer stroll, and Toby Amoso and Ese Brume, then the rest are either not performing or we are hearing little or nothing from them. Now, you look at the trajectory of how this drug issue has been passing through, and you tend to feel that there may be a cartel. Let's go back to that case of the investigation of Blessing Okagbare. They kept on mentioning a third person who was being referred with cryptic with a crypt. No, now that third person was as if the person wasn't speaking to the dealer directly. Yeah. So the dealer was speaking with the athlete one. So the one who convert the message to the dealer and take the services of the dealer to another client. So cryptic, quite hidden. So now, how many people are in that channel of getting this product? I've seen a documentary of how athletes are being spiked or use drugs, and it was in Kenya. I think one of the journalists went undercover to do that. They even go as far as going to recognize hospitals. You speak in jargons to the doctor, and the doctor who is in the system, will look at you 2 times and say if this man really understands what he wants to do, because you have to bring in that you understand you're here for the game and not trying to arrest him as well, because he's also careful because it's not legal. So there's always. And he was like, how do you get my number? It was like, okay, the guy you did for last time, he said it was so. Yeah, he said, yes, you consider he ran sub 10 in that race, was super fast. So I'll do it in a way that they are not going to notice. And that's the same way the doctor, the supplier, or in this Blessing Okagbare's case, was also referring, like, you told me they will not catch me. You told me nobody will see anything. You told me it's going to be fine. But look I've been caught and this and that. So they give. That documentary was so seamless that the doctor was speaking with confidence that, hey, after 2 to 3 days, it will be there. You take water and this and that will happen. I'll give you something else to top it off. But it looks as if there's a ring, there's a cartel. So one person is the one who knows the dealer, and I can inform 1 or 2 or 3 that this business is good. Oh, let's go in and invest. And everybody pass through me. Give me your money. I'll get the product for you. I will do it. So this is a point where I feel the AFN needs to stand up, because we spoke to Okowa, Tonobo Okowa, the AFN chairman, or is it president now? That was sometime last year, and I did ask 2 questions. One of the questions was in relation with Nigeria taking part in long distance races. What's our business? When we don't actually do well and we just give the money to the Kenyans and the Ugandans who come here to cash out Then I also asked about the doping issue. Look at, before you know it, we are already close to that red list, the red zone now. If you are not in it already, you have an athlete who will be doing 10. Already you have an athlete who will be doing 10. By the time it's reviewed now, you might even be in the red zone. Or if there's anything above the red zone, be getting close to the Kenyans. You already have an athlete who is 10 years. You have a big athlete, a male athlete who's supposed to take the world by a storm in the van of Duduru, who is quiet. You have the likes of Okevio and other big names who are also very quiet and nobody's saying anything. We had an under-20 athlete who was also sanctioned in the last under-20 championship, if I'm not mistaken, that took place in Colombia also. You also now you have a medal now stripped off you and another athlete implicated. It becomes a problem. So the AFN needs to act, and by acting they need to really double it, because if we just invite athletes to just come and wear our colors and we have little or no control over them, this will keep on happening. But if we are financing them, if we are taking care of their welfare, then we know each and everything that's happening to these athletes, so that in times like this we can actually be able to back our athletes up, or we leave the athletes to face the music because we've tried our possible best. So I'm looking at this from a direction of there's a cartel, there's a ring, there's one bad egg who knows a dealer who has been told good stories, and that bad egg, which is close to other athletes, is influencing them. And it's not going to tell good of Nigeria, because at the end of the day, the question is how many other smaller athletes have gotten themselves involved in this, even at this very small level of Nigeria. Because here now we can say we are doing a national meet. How many people will go, how many samples will be taken? Because it's randomly picked. It's randomly picked. But for there is a compulsory out of competition, in competition, after competition testing, where you have to submit mandatorily to 3 times a year. So how many of these athletes inward here in the home front have already gotten themselves involved in this? Because from here you want to run the best time, so that you now become a national athlete, where your name is now put into the list for those who will travel to go and represent Nigeria. We need to be very careful, because we're getting close to that red zone.
All right, certainly we are getting close to the red zone, and we just hope that our athletes, including those who are aspiring to become top athletes, you've got to do the right thing. It's never okay, for you to have an unfair advantage one way or the other, cut corners to victory or to success. It never ends well, and that's just the situation we have right here, as Team Nigeria has got a 4x100 meter gold medal stripped as a result of Grace Nwokocha's issues. Blessing, round it up for us before we move on to basketball.
Victor, on the 27th of July and on the 7th of August, she was tested and it was negative. Then on the 3rd of August, she was tested again. She was tested and it came out positive.
That thing I was saying, it has to stay in the body for a while.
So I'm saying that how come on the 3rd positive, 27th negative, then 7th again negative? Now I'm not trying to defend her, but she's saying that she took a particular drink and she took it with another athlete. That athlete should also be tested, but that athlete was not tested. It was just her that was tested.
Victor, see,
it was just her. So it's not like I'm trying to defend her, but I'm just saying that there are possibilities that she did not actually intentionally take anything to improve her record.
There are many things to come by, because if you talk about your body system, talk about the mistake, talk about intentionality, but if you come by the way of your body system, I think the doping organization have to pedal down, because every body system is different. You look at the way mutation takes place in the body system. I might take an orange juice, Uzo takes the same orange juice, but the effect it has on me might be different from what has on
orange
Uzo.
Juice.
Yes. Orange juice. See, orange juice has an effect. Citric acid. It has a lot of effect in human body, but none of us know about it. Citric acid can, in as much as increase your energy level too. So, in as much as taking that orange juice, you have to be careful. So that I'm saying is consumables for athletes. See, the doping bar, they should relax it, because these are people that eat food. The diet must be there. Supplement must be there. You have to take care of your body. See, I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody to dope. but the body system was always fluid. Your digestive systems was always so flow. Your amino acid also flow. So all this come together. I think doping systems have even tried to relate their books and review the laws, because it's becoming much. Because we heard of Greece. What was the person that was banned because of
Blessing Okabor?
No, not Blessing. The lady that was asked to go to the men's side because of her high testosterone level.
Caster
Semenya. So this is different system. You can't because of this person happened, or you come and say mistakenly. I see. I don't involve myself in this.
The thing,
But
this thing.
back to the AFM. See, until the AFM takes this thing seriously, we'll keep having this thing. I mentioned it last week.
I think it's not a matter of training. Even the US athletes, the only difference now is that they understand these things and they realize that even when if we try to cut corners, we'll be caught. The athletics, see, you talk about the AFN. There's a level you can get to. Grace Wokocha is not a baby. First, when you get a level, today you talk sports on air. You know the do's and don'ts. Yes, we're still learning the business, but there are some things you already know yourself that you are not meant to say on air. Yeah. And that is one thing that Grace Wokocha is supposed to know. You talk about her taking a drink, someone gave her. If I'm an athlete and someone gives me a drink, I will not just take it. Because I know this is something, it's fluid. These are things you take in your body, and it's not like your vitamin C that easily goes out of the body. That's why we advise to take fruits. It's going to stay there. From what Blessing said, on the 27th of July, it did not show.
Also the mutation processes.
On the 3rd of August, that's when it came on. And that's, if you look at what I said, it stays longer in the body before it starts showing. So I'm still saying that if you're talking about the AFN,
they have a lot to do.
No, these athletes were tested before they went for the World Athletics Championship.
Okay, let's make a scenario.
I'm getting to a point. They were tested before they went for the World Athletics Championship, and that was where Toby Amusan became a world record holder. From there, they traveled straight to Birmingham. That was how every other athlete, even for those just at the Brits, all of them, everyone traveled from there. There was no one that the federation went again to test. It was when they went to the Commonwealth Games that they were then tested. So I don't think we'll have to call yes, they can do more of sensitization, advise the youth and all, but I don't think any blame. Grace Okabor is not a baby. So I would not accept for them that she took an energy drink and she did not know.
AFN, how many times have we heard them come out in public or even say anything about the Blessing Okabor issue? We have not heard anything about them. We have not even heard any report concerning the issue. And this is Grace coming out again. I see, once an athlete knows about this information, they are not babies anymore. I agree with that. But until the AFN knows that this is putting Nigeria in the bad light, and if they keep doing this thing, it's almost getting to the red light, like Saiba said. If you keep doing this, it's going to make Nigeria a bad athletic federation. Once these athletes know that if you do this, there's a consequence after doing this. Strip them
do you think that they don't know what is the consequence?
Don't make them partake in it. Like, move your name out of this athlete.
No, you don't.
Face the shame. Because if you see, there's Blessing. I think Nigerian name is still involved in Blessing.
Why would she be a Nigerian?
She's still a Nigerian.
I don't understand.
Many I think Russia.
Did they say every time I went to school to class early? So she moved your name because you heard it well. Please. Kenya has, in fact, since last year and this year in Africa, Kenya has been like the highest when it comes to doping issues. But the federation, they know that this athlete is it's a personal thing. It's like training a child and then you send a child to university. When you enter university, it's almost like God now your hand the day. It's not you again, because that child now has a certain level of freedom. Grace
that's the child can see before.
No, this thing you are saying Victor, at the age where you don't reach, you get some advice I'm going to advise you again. If I tell Victor wake up early in the morning and go to work, no, Victor knows that he has to wake up and go and do his job.
No, but sometimes you still need to
tell him.
You don't know men are big babies.
That's how specific. The Victor I know.
Tell us she didn't address Uzo. It was Victor.
I don't need to call him and tell him Victor wake up and go to
I'll get one of this.
So you see, it's just the devil will get to. It's like telling Shelly Ann Fraser Price, you should not be why have they not been found? Because they understand this thing. They understand that It's the hard work, it's the consistency, it's the good coaching line that we need to have, and we get better. I just feel it's not about the federation, it's the quick success syndrome. It's really wanting to, even when I think it's one other thing we need to talk about, because last year we had an interview where our first female Olympic gold medalist, Chonwa, she said one issue that causes is the fact that athletes want to get to win medals quick, and also a part of the money, because when you go for this competition, it's not all of the athletes that are being paid. So that's the problem. It's not also, you have to get to some certain level where you now start joining those that are getting part of to share the cake that comes with the competition. So it's not, I think it's something that the athletics, that's the World Athletics too, and the different federations that are under them will come together and see the way to go through, especially that of Africa, because it's getting to a very high rate.
Victor, are they going to return the money? That's just what I was.
Yeah, they're returning the prizes, everything.
You return everything.
What if I don't chop the money?
You go pay back. Everything will be returned, including the prize
especially
money,
the medal,
and the medals as well. Everything will be returned to
I'll say my own.
All right, guys, let's move on now as we talk about the D Tigers of Nigeria.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. What have you done to me? I don't know. Believe me. It has to be you. I need you. I need you for my family. Believe me. It has to be you. I need you. I need you for my family. It must be you. It must be you. Only. I need you. I need you for my family. It must be you. It must be you. Only. I need you. I need you for my family. Oh baby, oh, been in love with you for days. Done there with you for so long. Show more. I'm crazy, oh, girl, I'm crazy over you. Now waiting man go do to make you know. Waiting you won't believe if you don't believe me. I will not deceive, do not deceive me. And my love go past the love you give me. If I follow your hand, I beg to leave. Waiting you won't believe if you know.
All right, so for the D Tigers of Nigeria, Nigeria's men's basketball team, they lost again in their final classification game at the AfroCan to finish 8th in the tournament. Of course, the D Tigers already didn't have it smooth for them with the performances that they were putting up, and they were already knocked out earlier in the competition. Both teams were defeated by Kenya and Tunisia respectively in their previous 5th to 6th classification games. Nigeria needed a victory yesterday to finish 7th on the competition standings, with the losing team relegated to the 8th position. The D Tigers did start well. They won the first quarter 19-18, and in the second quarter both teams could not be separated as it was tied 16-all, with D Tigers taking a 1-point cushion to the halftime break. They started out hot in the third quarter, but it turned out to be a 17-16 margin, extending their lead to just 2 points, and in the fourth quarter Angola turned it up to a 22-17 margin and held on for a 3-point victory against the D Tigers. The result means that the D Tigers end the 2023 African Cup in 8th place following the classification games. Of course, the competition continues with in Angola with current champions DR Congo playing against Rwanda in the 3rd place match, and the final between Morocco and Ivory Coast coming up later this evening. So 69-72, yet another loss for Nigeria's D Tigers, and finishing 8th in the competition. Chikozite, where did it get? How did it get wrong? I mean, this is the D Tigers that last year, 2 years back, when we were enjoying both their social media handle and they had the success in a way. And right now, we're talking about not even the Afro basket, it's the AfroCan. And we cannot win. I mean, we are 8th position. There were 8 teams that competed. So we are the last.
With pride.
I mean, pathetic. You want to say that the state of Nigerian basketball at the moment?
Since Sunday Dari came in, you have not seen any progress since Nigerian Basketball Federation, and you look at the effects already happen in Nigerian basketball. Talk about even the women basketball games, no progress. Then talk about the men's game. We don't even know what's happening. If you talk about the pool of talent we have in Nigeria, and you talk about the success rate, it's not almost the same thing. We are far behind the pool of talent we can ensure out of this country. So I think tactical wise, I don't know anything about their coaches. I don't know how they play. Then the talent is always there. It's almost certain that Nigeria has one of the biggest talent pool in Africa. So when you talk about this and you look at it, is not even ensuring success in anywhere we have gone to. The Afro Chan finishing it. It's pathetic. It's bad for a nation we call ourselves the giant of Africa, and every other success rate I've ever had before. But now it boils down to the conversation rate of the technical ability of these players, the technical abilities of the coaching staff, and basketball game is not all about the defense rate. Basketball will not, defense will not win in games in basketball. That is talk about the football games. Basketball is all about the big center and who can shoot. And how many that we saw the Rivers Sopas when they played the CAF. What's it called against you?
The bow.
Yeah, the bow. Even the Zika now.
No,
Kwara. We saw they can't shoot. They can't shoot. All they know is to just defend, and that's bad for our basketball games. We know how we should not have training stars that can shoot from outside the arc, and that's the most important thing in basketball. Look at the NBA stars we can clamor for, the LeBron James of this world, the Daniel Camacho. You talk about big names, Michael Jordan. These guys can shoot outside the arc, and that's what the point comes from. When you get a triple-double three, then look at it getting like 9 points. But if you keep getting a 2 shot or even a dunk, you're getting 2 times of what the guy can do after the arc just does in 3 times. So let's start training ourselves in the shooting aspect. Outside the arc is the main important thing. But
all right, how
sure are we that even if we train ourselves with the shenanigans happening in our basketball world? I don't know. It's pathetic. It's very, very pathetic.
Esine, I was listening to the coach Ogo Daudu speak. That was after they lost the penultimate game, and I must confess, he didn't seem like one who had so much confidence even in the squad. As well as there was a player who spoke, Ibiagu, he did speak in that very press conference. Do you think it's a thing of we not having our best of legs in the tournament, or it's just a ripple effect of the issues that have bedeviled Nigerian basketball in the past 1 year?
It's a compliment of the both. Let's not forget that on a normal day, we're not supposed to be in this competition. They let us pass through the corners, and even through the corners, we ended up eighth.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't deserve to be here. We came in as wild card entrance.
We're not supposed to be there because we did not qualify, but they still found a way to throw us through the window. And even the window did not help us. But Coach Ogoda, the man has done his best. You look at the league. What kind of league system do we have? We don't even play up to 60 games in a season. When you talk about, we don't play up to 60. We don't play. I don't even play up to 50. If we want to talk about our league, we don't have a steady league. We don't have the players to call on to. If we had a good home-based team, or not even a good basketball league system structure in the country where the league is ongoing, from there you can get active players, you can get players that you can call up to. We can't forget when the last one we had was Victor Eze. That was the best player that was there. Since then, what other big name player have we seen in this competition? So for Coach Ogoda, this is not even, he didn't go with all of Rivers Super's players. It's a blend of different players, because it's not easy for you to now start knowing the strength and weaknesses of every of these talents you've gone to. They went to the Afro-Can, lost the first game to Angola, won the second and the third that they defeated. They defeated That's Gabon. I don't know the other one's Mali. I can't remember the other name, but they won Mali and Gabon, and then we made it to the quarters, and we felt like God has done it for us. Maybe find a way we might just sneak in through to the semis, but it just showed the reality on ground played through, and it showed that we're not prepared. The game against defending champions, no longer defending, because now they're playing, and that's Congo, DR Congo. We started very poorly, and that was the greatest. That was the greatest undoing on our own end. The first quarter was 31-19. I think 31-9 or 31-17, and that was where the points were now very difficult for us to cover up. We still tried, and at the end of the game, it ended 74-72. So by 2 points margin, we were not able to get to the semis. Yes, we did not make it to the semis. They let us try and finish well, give us good classification. It still did not work out. We lost to Angola, and we still then lost to Kenya. I beg, if we can lose to Kenya, let's just come back home, because I don't know what we are doing in the competition. It's not. It's. I feel the players. I think they even did. I did not expect them to even get to the quarterfinals, because last time, even when things were done properly, I don't think things were really done properly when we played that last one. We didn't get to win any of the games. So this time, out of nowhere, we found ourselves to get to the quarters. It didn't work as expected. The problem in the Basketball Federation, the ripple effect is in everywhere, in the female angle, in the male angle. It's not going quite well. It will take a lot of work. It will take a lot of time. We cannot just start looking and projecting at out of nowhere, or let's say overnight success. No, we can't do that. We will just have to think and see how can we restructure this national team, because the African is for players in the African continent. We are never talking about the one that will be needing our the athletes that will be coming from the NBA, because we don't know if those ones will be coming back to our team. So it's a big problem we have. It's something you look at and you just want to forget in a hurry, because there's no way to hold it. There's no way to patch it up. Our local play, our home-based players are not at the best of it. Not that they don't have the talent, but I will keep saying those talents are not refined, and they are also spotted at a late stage in their life. Look at the athletes that are doing quite well when it comes to sports. They are scouted. You see them start playing this football at the age of 3-4. Yesterday I saw the granddaughter of Iron Wright, 4 years. Victor, if you see how this girl is playing, even God, also they learn work for football. Even what this small girl was doing, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that at age 4 a child could play football this good and with great intensity. We, our own talents, we get to refine them when they have reached 15, 20. By then, the wrong tactics have already been imbibed with them. We make them work hard and less smartly. When you are supposed to work more, you have to be smarter and also add your technical abilities to the task. So it's not surprising for me. If anything had happened, that would have really been a big shocker. That would have been us saying the Nigerian spirit. But I'm really happy that Nigerian spirit did not take us anywhere, because if it has led us to the semis or even getting to win this title, it would then be like all is fine and good with the federation. So let's just come back. The female side, let's leave what is happening. But for this male, Victor, I was not expecting anything out of the Blues. I knew that we were not going to go far. Even getting to the quarters, I think they tried. That's the home base lads that were just brought into that. They tried to get to the quarters of the African.
All right. Well, as Ine said, let's leave what's happening in the female side. Sadly, we cannot, as Odera Chidom rather has said, or has officially retired from international basketball due to the lack of professionalism from the Nigeria Basketball Federation. Now, Chidom announced this earlier this week on her Twitter page, saying her decision was influenced by the manner in which the country's basketball federation was regulating the affairs of players, coaches, and other related matters. She said, "It saddens me to announce that I will no longer play for the Nigerian national team." All right, well, the NBBF chose Rena Wakama as a University of Western Carolina alumnus and former national team player as the team's new coach in June, taking over from Otis Hughley, who left in July. Now, Chido Modera also spoke some more about what fueled her decision to quit international basketball. She made reference to the D Tigresses elimination or ban by the ministry, and also the fact that they put up an open tryout when the players have been asking, when are we going to resume? So it wasn't a thing of the players not wanting to return to camp. She said the players kept on asking, but the federation didn't give any answer, just for them to see on Twitter that there is an open tryout. Yes, Chido Modera speaking.
It's disheartening, it's offensive, it's disrespectful. So with all of that, we were still willing to play. So we've been asking questions to the next upcoming event. I mean, we all knew AfroBasket was at the end of July. So we were told to be patient. We would ask questions about when is camp, what dates do we need to block off, who is the coach, will camp be held in the U.S. or will it be held in Nigeria? Simple questions, and every single time we would get hit with, please be patient, please be patient, please be patient. So me and a bunch of my teammates didn't take jobs the month of July. And if people did play in foreign leagues, they would put in their contract some kind of clause for them to be able to get out of their contract. So we were all preparing for this event. And then to see open tryouts from a social media post with 6 days notice, I mean, what else can you do? I think most of it came from just wanting to shed light on the extremeness of it, of the federation. I mean, my teammates and I, we've put up with so much for so long, and we were continuing to put up with so much. But the trigger for me was just the disrespect that the federation showed us with announcing an open tryout 6 days before the event, 3 weeks before AfroBasket. My teammates and I were willing to, put everything aside and continue to play for our country, which we love so much. But our federation keeps getting in the way of that. I mean, I can go on and on, but this particular time, we were banned from the World. We qualified from the World Cup. We beat the top 5 team of France at the World Cup qualifiers. Probably Nigeria women's basketball biggest win ever recently in Serbia. Everyone was on a high. We were super excited. And then to get the news that our own country banned us, they put a 2-year ban on our senior sports in the country right before the World Cup. So we got banned from our country and FIBA, couldn't attend the event. It was very heartbreaking because I personally think that our team can compete at a world level and potentially put ourselves in the top.
Chido Modera speaking on the reasons behind the decision to quit international basketball. And Ival, we were here, I think about 2 weeks back, where we got to hear of the D Tigress putting up an open tryout for anyone interested, and it felt like at that point in time, what a lot of persons assumed, myself inclusive, was the players refused to show up. The players, because of the issues that happened with the ban, didn't want to play for the D Tigress anymore. But just to hear now that the players are even taking leaves from their various clubs, they are taking a permission to be excluded because they know that AfroBasket is coming up. They've been asking for, when are we going to camp? When are we going to camp? And then out of the blues, they see a social media post saying open tryouts.
Well, I don't know when we are.
Does the rot get more rotten than this?
Well, when are we sending a bouquet of flowers to Sunday Dare? He deserves it. This is it. This is why we'll be beaten by Kenya. We'll be beaten by Zaire if they return. We'll be beaten by Swatini, Swaziland, Seychelles. Everybody can beat Nigeria now. And everybody will beat Nigeria now. Both men and women's basketball. Why? Because we want to go back to what's not working. We were not there. It was Angola, it was Egypt, it was Senegal. Those were the powerhouses in basketball, in both the men and the women's play. Something changed. We got lucky. Got ourselves some top managers in the NBA, top-notch managers in the women's game. We're paying them per contract. Still, we're not paying them. They stood by Nigeria. They formed a formidable team. Before, we used to beg players to play for us. I could remember the Aminu brothers, the Al Farouk Aminu and his brother, who were playing in the NBA earlier on. They used to refuse to come to play for Nigeria. We now had a set whereby they were all intrigued to play for their country. What happened? We dominated Africa. The ranking we're currently experiencing and still sharing until when the coefficient will drop to little or nothing is because of we were able to dominate for at least 5 to 6 years. No thanks to all the guys who came back to do a good job for Nigeria. Same thing happened in the women's game. Back to back, 3-peat, right? And look at the Nigerian team at the World Cup. We became the first African side to get to the quarterfinals of a World Cup. Our men's team were able to, I think we led the USA at halftime.
That was the first time.
Nigeria got back from a 20 points deficit to beat France for the qualifiers. Just 8 players were there for that Serbia qualifiers. They played with blisters in their foot, injuries. Otis Hogley rode his luck, and those girls qualified for the FIBA World Cup in Serbia. Then we ourselves, like we use our own hands. We like let me go down to a local park. We chop ourselves winch. Let me use it. We chop ourselves winch. We use our own hands to band our own team. It is painful to say. These are players who traveled, played, strained to get that ticket. Why are we truncating something that's working? During that period, I listened to a litany of spaces where the girls were involved on social media. You could see them ranting. They were in awe. They were surprised that this was happening right before their eyes. A ticket they had gotten, well fought for, was thrown away. That you want to come and develop basketball. Which development are we talking about? These ones that we don't have one single court of international repute or standard. Maybe the highest we can go to is Lagos. In the whole country of 36 states and the capital, we just have one standard court. Have you seen what Rwanda is doing every time with the BAL? That's a country that will say, I want to develop basketball through the grassroots, and you will actually respond and say, okay. A country that has a league in comatose for over 5 or 6 years. And what happened? Finally, an apology letter was sent, and egos were massaged, and we lifted up the ban. This is the result. The guys have the guys were already their minds were made up. You know, men are men. Their minds were made up. They weren't coming again, and this is the result. We're leading in the last before the last 2 windows of qualifiers, right?
Yeah. We
were well beaten by nations who cannot stand Nigeria, because what we've got, we have inadequate talent and preparation. Uka Odaudu can do the best he can, but we don't just have what it takes to be able, at this point in time, to contest. Egypt, Angola, Senegal, Mali, DR Congo, those are top level nations in terms of basketball. If we're able to leverage on the quality of talent, the talents we've exported out of this country, and rule Africa and started to contest in the world scene, then we would have stood with what was working. Some of the players say they've even done more basketball grassroots development than the government themselves. Yeah. Wara is an example. Every year you host a tournament in either Benue or somewhere in the North Central. Just of recent, some of our international players are even coming back. What was his name? Achunwa came back last year. He did something. I think even this year he has done something in Port Harcourt. How many have the government done? How many have we done? And if these girls were still putting their hearts behind Nigeria, went and open what? Open throw. They call it open throw. You give those players 50 chances to make a 3-point, and they will not make one. Let's say the way it is. This is a skilled sport. It's a sport whereby you need some level of expertise. 3 points is not beans. It's not more to make 3-point shots. And you have players who have already attained that level of professionalism at the same point in time. Do yours. Let the players do theirs. This is the only sport we had exclusively 99% of them coming from the foreign scene, and we didn't have a problem because they actually went there and proved their worth. Football, yes, talents abounding everywhere in the country. Yes, you can just stand up from your house and get exported and you become a world beater. But basketball it's not like that. It's quite difficult. All right. It's really, really sad that this happened to the women's game, and if we don't take care, we may not even be qualifying for any international basketball tournament, because at this point in time the girls will boycott.